Let's take a look at alternate tonal pattern ideas. Now, one alternate idea is to use the melodic pattern from a song. So, for instance, instead of just doing a 1-3-5 or a 5-3-1, you would actually do some melodies from the song that you just completed. So, for instance, let's say we just did The Wheels on the Bus. Let's see, I think that song is in D on our CDs, although I'm not sure, but let's just say it is for our tutorial purposes. There's D. So let's say I said, the wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town. Ta-da! And what you can do is you can maybe start with your 1-3-5, go bum 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 ba ba bum 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 bum. Or you can break it up however you like. You could just go bum bum bum. Well, it actually works out perfectly that Wheels on the Bus has the 1-3-5 in it, so that's nice and handy. Let's say we were doing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You see, let's see, I think that's in C, if I remember correctly. Bum bum bum. So twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. Ta-da! Everyone repeat after me. Bum 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 bum. That's another example of using the melodic pattern from the song. Or you could even make it a little bit longer. You say bum 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. It's your choice, but the basic idea of this alternate tonal pattern idea is just to take parts of the melody of the song as your patterns. Now, the next part, guessing games, is a variation on that theme. It's a fun way to make a game out of using the melodic pattern of a song. And what you do is you do a guessing game before you start a song, and then you do the tonal patterns after the song. So let's say, actually I've got some examples here, but you'll see in Down by the Bay and I'm a Nut are examples. Let's start with Down by the Bay, which, if I remember correctly, is in G. Bum, bum, bum. So, ba, 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 ba. So I would say, guess what, everybody? We're going to play a game. It's a guessing game. Everybody repeat after me and see if you can recognize the melody of this song. Here we go. Bum 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 bum, and I'd do that a little bit longer. I'd say, who can tell me what song that is? And then they may or may not get it. And he says, Down by the Bay. And then you just, while you're still keeping your hands on your lap going with the rhythm, then you start right into the song, and then you do your tonal patterns at the end. So this is a great way for children, once again, to isolate the melodic elements and the rhythmic elements in this case. So you're not just doing melody, you're doing the rhythm of the song too. So it's a great way for children who might otherwise only recognize Down by the Bay because of the words, the lyrics. This is helping them realize that just the melody itself is enough to distinguish one song from another, and so you're getting that into their brains. Alright, so that's a guessing game. Be sure to watch the two in-class examples here before you're done with this section. Moving on, you can use the major scale for tonal patterns in step or half-step intervals. Now I have at the very bottom of this page, I have a reference picture, a couple of them, that show you the major scale. Basically, the major scale moves, it's all the white keys on a piano if you're in C, but it's a whole, half, whole, half steps, or tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, if you'll remember from our music theory section. And a major scale is, another way to think of it for those of you who are non-musicians is the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's your major scale right there. And you can do the same thing with a minor scale. I probably should write that in here. But anyway, what this means is you can go up and down sequentially. So let's say I'm in my C major scale to keep things easy. I could say bum 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 that was moving directly up the scale. Now if you notice in the previous examples, in the primary patterns, we were just doing 1, 3, 5. Notice how we're skipping a note. We're skipping the 2 and the 4. And then we're doing 6, 4, 2, which is also skipping. So that's moving in thirds. 1, 3, 5 is moving in thirds. So what I'm talking about in this section is moving more in steps sequentially. And that's one thing that you can do, is use the major scale that way. Now one thing to keep in mind is that it's difficult for young children to recognize moving step by step as much as it is for them. It's easier for them to recognize things going in thirds. So I recommend the thirds most of the time, but as your class session progresses, you can gradually start moving sequentially too, especially with the older kids. And that way they'll start recognizing those smaller intervals. So if you think about it, moving in thirds or fifths, they're bigger jumps, so it's more clear to a young child that that's a different note that you're moving between. When you start moving note by note in the scale, it's a little bit tougher to distinguish, especially the half steps. So you can think of it that way. You want to make your thirds and fifths, moving in thirds and fifths, your primary usage of tonal patterns, the primary thing you use for tonal patterns, but occasionally throw in some sequential notes in the scale to spice things up. Now, another fun thing you can do to help children learn their tonality is to set the tonality before a song. What you want to do, you're always going to be finding your starting notes anyway of a song, especially if it's an a cappella song. And so you want to make sure you know what the key is, so you can use your instrument or pitch pipe or your smartphone app or whatever you're going to use to find the note. And you can, if for instance, let's say we're doing the wheels on the bus in D. The wheels on the bus go round and round. I would have the class repeat after me. Everybody repeat after me. Say bum 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 bum. We're gonna do the wheels on the bus. Everybody get your wheels rolling. The wheels on the bus go round and round. So it's just a quick 1, 3, 5, just to get people the parents and kids to recognize what key we're about to be in. Another thing you could do is just do the root note and have the class say a syllable. So I think that was D was our wheels on the bus. So I would have everybody, let's make a drum roll and everybody sing this note with me. Go la. Soon you have the whole class at one time going la. Or you can do O, or of course part of Eastern spirituality, there's a lot of using the Om syllable, so you're welcome to try that if you like, if you don't think you'll scare anybody off. But Om, or you can simply, one idea is you can go through the different vowels. You can say A, E, I, O, U. That's just an example of getting everybody to sing along with you while doing a little drum roll. And not only does it help get the root note in their heads before you start the song, of course, then you go, the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. But it also is a great way to gather attention. So if you have a class that's starting to get unruly, as in children are getting scattered or parents are starting to have little mini conversations in the classroom, it's a great way to get everyone together in a nice circle. Everyone do a drum roll with me, and we're going to sing these notes together. It's just a quick thing. You can just do it for like 5 to 10 seconds just to gather people together, or you can do a longer version of it if you feel like getting into it more. So that's a fun technique. And last but not least for this section, we have using solfege for tonal patterns. Now there's a lot of varying opinions on amongst music learning theorists as to whether solfege is really appropriate for young children. And the basic overall consensus, I think, is that solfege is great for older kids, elementary school age, but not necessarily the age that we're dealing with. Just to tell you what solfege is, that's what you've always heard, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And also you've heard it in The Sound of Music. Do, a deer, a female deer. Re, a drop of golden sun. Ba, 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 ba. Anyway, that's what solfege is. And you can get really deep into solfege to where there's a lot of different there are more syllables than just those 7 syllables, but that's what most people know. If you were to use it in class, let's say you wanted to use it as a spice for your tonal patterns, sometimes you could do things like, everyone repeat after me: do mi so, do mi so, so mi do, so mi do, la fa re, la fa re, so do, so do. And that was basically me recapping the same primary patterns I did earlier, but using solfege instead. Now, the main reason why it's not necessarily appropriate for the youngest kids, for the 0 to 4-year-olds, is that this is very abstract for them. Assigning a syllable to a note is still completely out of their, context of their minds. Even just putting one syllable like bomb, bomb, bomb is already enough for them to work with. So, there's certainly no harm in it. It's just that they might not quite get it quite yet. But feel free to play with that if you like to, especially if you're a musician or a music major out there, someone who has a good music background. You're welcome to try it out in class. All right, next section we'll look at is going to be rhythm patterns. Stay tuned.